What if I were to say to you that if you're an average gamer who's been playing PUBG for a while and want to get better, the most important skill you need to win more chicken dinners is not gunplay. It's not accuracy. It's not how good you are with an 8 times on a Kar 98. What if I were to say to you that the most important skill you need to learn to win more chicken dinners is simple mathematics? Okay, so turn this video off right now if you play PUBG for the lols. Turn this video off right now if you think you've got more than enough chicken dinners as it is. Turn this video off right now if you play PUBG just for the kills. Turn this video off right now if you think that regularly dropping hot on school or picado is the route to more chicken dinners. Keep watching if you want to rise up through the ranks to easily get into the top 1% of the players in your region. And keep watching this video if you want to learn the simple maths formula that will win you more chicken dinners than you ever have had before. Okay, so remember way back in school when you studied probability in maths class? Well, this is the first of a series of videos where I argue that a simple understanding of probability will help you get better at PUBG in all sorts of situations. And in this case, I'm going to be talking about winning more chicken dinners. So, to explain a little, probability is the measure of the likelihood that an event will occur. What if I were to say to you that if you follow this simple formula, that the probability that you will win at least one chicken dinner in a series of games will go to over 50%. In other words, you will be odds on to win at least one chicken dinner. In other words, you'll have a better than 1 in 2 chance to win at least one chicken dinner. In other words, you have more than a 50-50 chance to win at least one chicken dinner in a series of games. What's the formula, I hear you say? It's simple. Just get into the top 10 7 times. That's it. If you survive into the top 10 of a PUBG solo match 7 times, the probability that you will win at least one chicken dinner in that series of games will be 0.52 or 52%. The more times you get into the top 10, the higher that probability will be. Get into the top 10 8 times and the probability that you will have won at least one of those games will rise to 0.57 or 57%. If you manage to get into the top 10 times, you'll have a 65% chance of winning at least one chicken dinner from that series of games. Now, I know you've got questions. The first is whether this is blindingly obvious and I'm crazy. And the next question is whether winning PUBG can be deconstructed to a random event. And finally, your questions about the validity of the math. To those of you who say it's obvious that the more times you get into the top 10, the more times you win, I'd challenge you and say, how many times does your play style, your strategy and tactics, in other words, your choices about how you play the game, stop you from getting to the top 10? How many times do you die early in a hot drop? How many times do you die in a vehicle crash? How many times do you get caught in the blue because you've got held up in a gunfight? How many times do you fail to get to the top 10 and not give yourself a chance of winning? PUBG is not a game about kills. It's a game where the last person standing wins, and you don't even need one kill for that. You just have to survive to the end. But do you even survive to the top 10 on a consistent basis? So, next up, can you even consider winning a chicken dinner, a random event, a lottery if you like? Is it really as simple as saying that when you get to the top 10 you've got a 1 in 10 chance of winning? Well, I say yes, but especially for you, the person watching this video, you'll have a better than 1 in 10 chance of winning. Because I'm assuming you're an above average player or working towards that. The fact that you're watching this video and want to improve your chances of winning proves that you've already got a better attitude than most people who play the game. You'll know how to loot and what gear to take into the final circles. You know, a close-up weapon, a ranged weapon with a scope, level 2 armour, level 2 helmet, plenty of ammo, a few meds and grenades, and the awareness to use cover to stay safe and use the sound of the others to figure out where they are. The catch with PUBG is that no matter how skilled you are, there is a massive amount of randomness during and especially at the end of the game. You have no control over where the circle will end, what the terrain will be like, what people will have got there first, what gear other players will have, what strategies and tactics they'll be using, and what crazy or sensible things your enemies will try. You can get to the top 10 with the best weapons and armour, only to find you've got to cover some open ground and you'll get cut down by everyone else. Alternatively, you'll get to the top 10 with only an AK with a red dot and a few dozen bullets, but everyone else will kill each other and you'll get an easy chicken dinner because your enemy is weak and has stopped to heal behind a tree. So the important thing is to realise that if you play enough games and get into the top 10 consistently, you will eventually get good terrain. You'll get circles that are kind to you. You'll get enemies who seemingly don't know what they're doing, and you'll get that dinner. Realise that when you drop hot and die to a shotgun to the face on the roof at school, that game could have been the one with the circles that were all to your advantage, where those other players gave you that dinner on a plate, but you'll never know because you thought it was cool to drop hot and not even reach the top 90. Right, next, the math. If we accept that when you get to the top 10 in a PUBG solo match you've got a 1 in 10 chance of winning, then that is always true for any game. If you look at any one game in isolation, you've got a 1 in 10 chance. However, over a series of games, the chances of winning at least one of those games in that series goes up. The easiest way to work it out is to work out the probability of losing every game, which is 9 out of 10. To work out the probability of losing every single game in a series, you multiply 9 over 10 by itself for that number of games. So the chances of losing every single game in a series of 7 top 10 finishes would be 9 over 10 by 9 over 10, etc., 7 times, which ends up equaling 0.478 or 48%. To work out the opposite, the chance of winning at least one of those games in that 7-game series, we just take out what we've worked out from the number 1. And so that gives us 0.52 or 52%. Now, don't worry about that too much. I've put a link in the YouTube description below that has a drop chance calculator where you can test these figures for yourself. And you just enter a drop chance of 10 and the number of runs of 7. So there we have it. Hopefully I've convinced you that simple math is the most important aspect for winning more chicken dinners. You just need to have average skills and kit, and the strategies and tactics to get you consistently to the top 10. Then, due to the random nature of what happens in PUBG, you'll give yourself an odds-on chance of winning at least one chicken dinner if you can get to the top 10 7 times. So the next time you're on a hot drop, or you're engaging someone in an early gunfight, or you're taking a pop shot at a distant car, or maybe you're just driving flat out on a motorbike, just think about how this could be the game when the final circles all fall in your favour. So reflect on what you're doing and change your strategy and tactics to get to that top 10 instead. Okay, so that's enough from me, but I'll be doing more videos on how understanding basic probability can improve your abilities in PUBG, from chicken dinners down through gunfights, weapons and where to drop. Please put your questions and comments down below. Hit like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more of the same. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.